all or nothing mentality. This is a thought trap. I hate thought traps. Why? Because I keep falling into them. Black or white thinking is a particularly vicious one because it overlaps with so many problems in life. Procrastination is a black and white thing because if we aren't going to do a good, if we aren't going to really do it and get it done, we don't want to even start. It feels so bad to start something and then having to stop it. So we really wait for that moment where we feel like we can really finish this once we get going, and then if it's not that, then I'm not gonna do it. Perfectionism is also black or white thinking, right? It has to be perfect, or otherwise I'm not gonna do it at all. And weight loss and like a sustained muscle growth, these sustained development things, these also get harmed a lot by black and white thinking because hey, when you're trying to lose weight, you're not going to lose all that weight in one go, right? You're going to progressively lose weight, but then every time you look in the mirror, you're doing all these things, you're eating less and you're counting your carbs and everything, but it's not working. And why? Because you don't look like your ideal state right now. Therefore, it's as good as not working at all. So this is the kind of black and white thinking that just interacts with so many different parts of our lives. So how do we get around it? Well, we have to understand. You know this is bad, right? You know black or white thinking. It can't be that beneficial to you, right? The only benefit that black or white thinking really has is the simplicity that it offers. But life isn't always about simplicity and optimizations. Because why? What we feel like good choices isn't always meant to give us good results. So, for example, we want to be lottery winners. We want to have a lot of money, right? But there's that concept of the monkey paw. You get a lot of money, but turns out when you make a lot of money, you have a lot of things to think about, and you have to do a lot of things to sustain that amount of money. So, do you want to buy an expensive car? But did you know that expensive cars take the most expensive gas, and the registration and insurance is also really high? So, what I mean is, every seemingly good thing comes with a price tag. But it feels good to us in the simple model of black and white, right? But life doesn't always work like that. That's the core problem. So, when we think something is bad, oh, this is the worst thing that happened to my life. But then we live on, and then we find that from our perspective changes that, oh my god, that may have been the best thing ever, right? So, in 9/11 and all these like tragic accidents, you have people who narrowly miss going to work that day, and at that moment it feels like the worst day ever because they're missing work. But then guess what? Something catastrophic happens and you missed it by that margin. So it's like the best thing that could have happened to you, right? So I got fired from my job once. I hated that experience, but it turned out to be a really great experience that taught me a lot of humility, and it taught me a lot about how I like to view myself. And I didn't want to live like that anymore, which is what prompted me to change, right? So just like this, black or white thinking offers simplicity to you in your brain, but that's it. It's not good. You have to understand there's no way this can be beneficial for you. Why? Because there are lots of things that, aren't that important, right? Okay, so pizza is good or bad, depending on the topping, right? Oh, it doesn't have pepperoni, then it sucks. If it does have pepperoni, you know what? Then regardless of how bad a pepperoni pizza tastes, it's still pretty good. So therefore it's good. So these things don't really matter that much, right? Like it's like preference. But some things it does matter, right? So, what do you think the difference is between the things that matter and the things that don't matter? It has to do with you. That topic that you're sensitive about, it has something to do with you, right? But why the black or white thinking is so bad for you as the person is because you don't exist in a good bad spectrum. You're viewing the world through a black or white lens when you live in a 3D color world. It's an oversimplification. So, why this is again, why this problem? You're gonna find a lot of instances where you will be very confused and frustrated because why? This was supposed to be a white spot, but then it turned out to be a not one. This was supposed to be a good thing, but it's black thing, but it doesn't. It has a different color. So when you try to look at all the nuances in life through a good or bad lens, okay, and you're the one making that call of good and bad, but are you the most informed at everything? No, right? You have judgment errors, you have, preferences, you have biases. You're not all that reliable when it comes to judging what is really good for you or bad for you, right? Okay, so why am I spending so much time talking to you about why black or white thinking is so bad? It's because you when you know it's bad, you gotta drop it, right? So you have someone who smokes, and they're like, "Oh, I don't think I can ever quit smoking." Boom, go to the doctor, and then turns out lung cancer. Wouldn't you quit in a heartbeat? Why? Because you know it's bad for you, and you have living proof that it's bad. But it doesn't take a genius to know that smoking is generally bad, right? But what's the difference between I know smoking is bad versus a lung cancer diagnosis? It's that it's real, it's tangibly real, right? But unfortunately, we get to know something is bad retroactively after we get the negative consequences for some things, right? Do you really want to live like that? The more you continue on with the black or white thinking, the more you are going to put hindrances and blockers into your life, the longer time you will spend your life not living your life. You are going to prevent your life from you. And this is a bad thing. Do you want to recognize that 20 years later down the line? Or can you think about this enough? Can you generalize? Can you project and extrapolate enough to know that this black or white thinking just cannot be a good thing for you? And the moment you understand, the moment that you actually get, holy fuck, this is really bad for me, then we can start up thinking about then how do we change our mind? I'm motivated now, right? So while I can help you with the how to drop those thoughts, like my YouTube channel has like hundreds of videos related to those topics, right? But it cannot start. It can't start when you're still trying to hold on to I want to be good in this way. I want to be good in life in the way that I want to be good at. This insistence on your values and your belief, you have to be willing to let that go. Why? Because it is only suffering that is waiting for you at the end of that road.